Hey everyone, Crazy Ed here, and with Path of Exile Atlas of Worlds coming out tomorrow, I just wanted to go ahead and make a quick, short video about the build that I will be playing as my league starter. I think this time around I'm going to jump on the hype train and go with the Blade Vortex build. I'm going to do mine a little bit differently though. I will play an Occultist. I played an Occultist last league and I really liked the utility. This time, although I didn't get all 4 of my ascendancies from finishing the Uber Lab last time because it wasn't necessary as Caustic Arrow to pick up Wicked Ward or the Forbidden Power nodes, this time I will be going Crit Blade Vortex. I will be a hybrid build, and I'm probably going to go Mind over Matter, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I will be picking up the extra curse, the power charge generation, and the Wicked Ward. It was really hard for me to decide between the Occultist with their power charges and the Assassin for Blade Vortex. The starting nodes are about the same since I don't get the energy shield points. I get spell damage, which will double dip with any poison that I apply. It's 20% nerfed, but either way. I did some theory crafting with a Scion that I had who was level 90 and was able to get 10-second Blade Vortexes or more with just this potency of Will node right here. And no Spell Echo and an increased duration gem. I did have a 6-link set up, and I ran only one aura, and it was a Curse on a Blasphemy, which was Warlord's Mark. So, how I plan to approach this is actually threefold. First, I will run no Mind over Matter initially. This is my final tree at level 92 or 93. I will have a Mind over Matter and run one Curse on Blasphemy. Until then, I will run Hatred and a Curse on Blasphemy and no Mind over Matter. And Mind over Matter really gives me an extra defensive layer. I want to be able to farm the Shaper and do the late game Guardians. So by equipping a dagger, whether it's an Andivarius or just a really good spell dagger, then I can utilize Fortify on Whirling Blades. I had almost 5k hit points, 1200 ES on my Scion, and then I also had like 1300 mana, and of course about 35% of that was unreserved, or was reserved, but still you can tell that I have a very, very large effective HP pool. Combine that with hybrid flasks, and when you activate those, they regenerate both your life and your mana, and mana keeps on ticking. Plus, with Warlord's Mark on Blasphemy and wearing a Cosprey's Will, it does two things. One, my Blade Vortex will always poison because I always curse even hexproof enemies, and with the instant leech, my life instantly fills right back up. So you can really, really feel it. Now, I said I practiced this with a whole bunch of runs on an Ascendant. I obviously didn't have any of the Occultist Ascendancy nodes, so I wasn't doing my power charges, which I've got 8 of, and I didn't have any poison. I didn't have any ES regen and the bonus ES that you get. I didn't have exploding corpses from cursed enemies dying. So I pretty much had the tree down, and I had a lot of effective HP. I was super tanky, super mobile. I had 10-second Blade Vortexes up. I was super happy. Now, if you're going to go for this build, there's a couple things you can do. You can go more ES if you want. You can pick up these nodes. You can pick up some more jewels if you want for the last points, or you can swap them out. If you don't want to go get Will of Blades, you can come down here for 1 point and save yourself a couple points here. Maybe pick up more life down here in the life wheel outside of the Scions, which is probably what I'm going to do. If you want to go more effectiveness, you can get more crit with a few extra points. You can pick up Alchemist. this tree is actually pretty dense. There's every point or two, you're getting something with your travel points. The one downside, though, is that I'm gonna have to get a little bit of dex on my gear. I say a little, I mean a lot. I'm picking up 100. Well, I'm actually picking up 144 dex on the tree, and that's not too bad. I am getting this 130 node and this node down here. Now, this nimbleness cluster, along with the practical application, is going to get me some stun immunity. Since you stop and you do cast a little bit with Blade Vortex, it's kind of easy to get stunned a little bit while you're standing there. Now, with a high effective HP pool, it might not be a problem. I'm not 100% sure, but I do plan to have lots of power charges up. I will not use Blood Rage, so Frenzy Charge generation may be an issue. I may find a way to work around that, but I'm not 100% sure. I may just forgo Frenzy Charges. 8 power charges is going to be a lot. My 6-link setup is going to be before Cosprey's Will, Blade Vortex, Poison, Increased Duration, Increased AoE, swappable to Conk Effect, and then Controlled Destruction. That's pretty much a rundown of my build. Everything else is just open, so I should be able to easily get Elemental Resist capped. And like I said, before Cosprey's Will, I will go Hatred. I may stick with that, I'm not sure. Hatred will make me reserve almost all my mana, so if I'm doing a really good bit of damage with the Hatred, then I may link it out or keep it in. If I'm doing really, really good. If I feel I need some more survivability for particular fights, then I can just spec into Mind Over Matter. Now, I will have Occultist, and I plan to be wearing a Cosprey's, which I know I'll have 4 off colors, or 5, depending on what I do, but I'm going to have 3 curses at that point. I plan to apply my other curses with a level 1 Orb of Storms. I've got a lot of radius on the tree, obviously. I've got just about all I can get, with the exception of the weird awkward nodes right here, and this one I think there's some other AoE around, but I'm going to do a level 1 Orb of Storms with Curse on hit, and then Temporal Chains and Enfeeble on that. Now, when I'm doing it Zeri or Uber, it will reflect those curses. I'll have to find another way around it, but by keeping a level 1 Orb of Storms, I can just lay an Orb of Storms down for any boss that I encounter, because those are the ones I'm going to have a harder time against, and then just run up and slam them. I might also be able to, swap out Enfeeble for Vulnerability for easier bosses that I know I can handle, maybe the Gorge Goat. I'm not sure. We'll see what the new map bosses are like. They've reworked a whole lot of them. So that's the build I plan to run. I'm sorry I can't show you guys any gameplay, but I can do a quick rundown. I do have 8 power charges, and with the Controlled Destruction, that'll give me plus 300% more critical strike chance, on top of whatever I've got, plus my gear. I've got enemies can have an additional curse. I'm going to have 155% max life, but once again, I've got 77% increased energy shield, and I'm planning on going Mind Over Matter, so my HP pool is going to be huge. It's going to be like over 9,000. Not literally, but it's going to be really, really high. And I'll have Fortify up most of the time as well. So I've got 127% increased physical damage, 50% increased area damage, chaos damage. I'm not going to worry about that. I may also try a Ming's Heart ring is one of my ring slots if I'm doing really good. We'll see. Gain 5% extra. Leech applies instantly. You know what? I can actually spec out of these 3 points with Veil Pact and go ahead and start working down there, or just ignore it. No point in having regen with Veil Pact. That's not a very effective life cluster. So yeah, that is my build, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, leave a comment below, hit me up on the forums, and I will post another video with gameplay footage after the start of the league, once I get some gear up and running, and let y'all know how it's going. Good luck, and I will see y'all out in Rayclast.